Hello, and welcome back to another Teacher's Tip video with Alessia's Academy. In today's video, we'll be looking at how to chunk larger tasks for productivity and stress reduction. When we have a big assignment, it can sometimes feel intimidating to get started on it. There's all kinds of requirements on our assignment page coming at us, and it can take a little while to filter through what's expected of us. This often leads to procrastination because we don't actually know where to begin. So sometimes when we're unsure of ourselves, we just put things off for as long as we can so we don't actually have to tackle that task. Here are some quick tips to help you get started on your work. First things first, look at the due date for the assignment and see how much time you actually have to complete it. Then, you backwards plan and find how many days you have to work on it. This is where you need to be really honest with yourself and think about your schedule overall. What are the days you can actually spend at least an hour or so working on the assignment? Next, you plan out how you can divide the project that you need to work on. Working on things in smaller steps can help to make your assignment feel more manageable. Then, once it's in front of you, you just focus on one step at a time. Here's an example of a calendar that we're using for today's purposes. So let's say we have an assignment due on the 30th at the end of the month, represented by the yellow star. Then we backwards plan. Now let's say that we have about an hour to work on our assignment each Saturday leading up to the due date. That means that we actually have 4 sessions that we can use to work on the assignment that's expected of us. So now you have to decide how you're going to split up your work. For today's purposes, we're using an essay as an example. So in the first session, you might just want to get your ideas down and fill out a graphic organizer. Get all of those initial steps like your thesis statement and what your main arguments are going to look like. Then the second Saturday, you might write about half of your assignment. So let's say 1 introduction and 2 analysis paragraphs. Then for the third Saturday, you would finish off the rest of the essay. So finishing that last analysis paragraph and your conclusion. This is where you can also double check your formatting and any other little tidbits that you haven't done for your essay yet. Now what you want to do is try and leave that 4th session for editing. This is where again you're double checking any minor things you might have missed, but you also want to make sure you're editing for things like spelling and grammar and the flow of your essay. So this is sort of your proofreading day that you would use. And then finally your assignment's completely done and it's ready to be handed in at school. So now that you have your plan, make sure you stick to it. If you don't stick to the plan, then all of this formatting and planning out of your tasks has just contributed to your procrastination of getting started. So you really want to make sure that you're holding yourself accountable. Sometimes it can help to have a friend where you say both of you are going to work at the exact same time and you can check in with each other and make sure that you're actually staying on task. Having an accountability partner really helps people who are struggling to get started on their work. It is also helpful to use things like graphic organizers. This helps to make sure that you have all the information you need for your assignment. Here's an example of a graphic organizer that you can use if you're writing an essay, for example. The first section would have your introduction paragraph. So for an introduction paragraph, you want to make sure that you have your general opening statement, which is the hook of the essay. Next, you give your text, author, and context for the main arguments of your essay. Then you give 1 sentence for each of your main arguments that briefly explains them. And then finally, you end on your thesis statement. Next is an example of an analysis paragraph. For an analysis paragraph, you would first state your point for the argument, give context and evidence from your research, or whatever text you happen to be using. Then you would give an analysis of that evidence to show how it proves your point and overall thesis statement. And then finally, you give a concluding sentence. You want to make sure that your concluding sentence is also acting as a transition sentence to your next paragraph. So really think about how you can word your statements there. And finally, you have your conclusion paragraph. So for this one, you would restate your thesis using different words than you did for your introduction. Give a summary of your main arguments to show how well they persuaded your reader. And then end on a so what statement. You want to explain to people why they should care about what you're trying to persuade them of. So think about, this is the last impression you're leaving with your reader. How can you make it really impactful? Remember, just keep taking things one step at a time. You'll have your project completed before you know it. The most important thing is to be kind to yourself and do the best you can. If you need more tips on stress management techniques, please see some of our videos from our Wellness Wednesday playlist to help you. We hope this has been helpful. Please like, share, and subscribe for more videos that teach you how to learn for life and get through school while taking care of yourself. Until next time, see you soon.